Please listen carefully. In this question, you will read a short passage on an academic subject and then listen to part of a lecture on the same topic. You will then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the lecture. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. Read the passage about imprinting in baby birds. You have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in an ecology class.
So, we've been looking at animal behavior, and especially the process of imprinting in young birds. Of course, the first thing a young gosling sees when it hatches is its mother. Now, birds that walk almost immediately after hatching, as opposed to those who are helpless and can't get around for several weeks, have to follow their mother for their own safety, for their survival. It seems that walking birds will follow just about anything that moves and has eyes. In fact, we've seen that they will easily imprint on human beings. But some researchers have gone even further. One set of experiments, for example, has found that young geese will imprint on inanimate objects, such as plastic milk bottles that are attached to a moving object, like an electric toy train. Now, it seems that in some species of birds, and this includes nesting birds, which are helpless after hatching, imprinting can affect later learning and social behavior. For example, territorial behavior. If a human takes on the role of the parent, the bird's social behavior becomes directed at the wrong object or species. A bird that sees a human as one of its own kind and follows or accompanies a human will not understand the importance of keeping to its own territory. This is why wildlife specialists tell us not to try to raise young birds that we find outside a nest. If the bird becomes attached to us, it can't learn to associate with its own species and would quickly be rejected.
The professor explains the notion of imprinting in young geese and ducks. Explain how this behavior develops and how it might be important for the bird's survival. You may begin to prepare your response after the beep.
The reading defines a phenomenon which is called imprinting. It is a process when young birds get attached to their mother after hatching. The lecture discusses this phenomenon in more detail. Firstly, the lecture talks about birds that start to walk as soon as they hatch. These offsprings follow their mother for safety, and they may imprint on people and even on moving objects. The professor goes on to say that in some kinds of birds, imprinting can influence their development in territory behavior. If birds imprint on people, they will not understand that it is essential to keep to their own territory, and they will not be able to see other birds as ones of their own kind. They won't be accepted by their own species. That is why it is very important not to take young birds out of the nest.